So one of the biggest things that you probably will deal with when you're dealing with a narcissist is arguments on pause. Because that's one of the biggest issues that I've had. You know, if you're new here, I am a narcissist. I'm diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. And I used to talk to my therapist about it. I was like, look, me and my wife will be hanging out, chilling, having a good night. And she will bring up something for 2 months ago and try to finish a conversation. Like, I feel like she would literally ruin a good night with trying to finish the conversation from 2 months ago. And my therapist said that's because you probably leave arguments on pause and on hold. And she probably feels stifled in a relationship where she can't like speak her feelings or speak her truth. So like most of the time, so when she gets you in a calm moment, like when you're hanging out watching a movie or watching TV or something, when you're in a good mood, she feels like she can approach you with something that should have been handled a long time ago. And that blew my mind because it woke me up to the fact that when you're dealing with a narcissist, the only time you feel like you are comfortable to speak is when you're having good moments. And the narcissist thinks you are ruining the good moment. It's a battle. What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of A Narcissist Explains. I am self-aware narcissist, Mr. Lee Hammock, better known as Mental Healness from TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. You know where to find me at. If this is your first time seeing my face, I'm a diagnosed narcissist, and the point of this platform right here is to bring awareness to narcissistic personality disorder and also validate victims and survivors of said abuse. This series right here, A Narcissist Explains, is where I take my TikToks and YouTube shorts, go into greater detail into those, open them up a little bit and explain them a little bit. This one you just watched is about arguments on pause with a narcissist. Like, cause that used to be one of my main problems in my relationship. Cause like with my wife, so we would be like hanging out, chilling, having a good day, having a date night. The kids are gone. We just be me and her chilling. Like we went to the movies, laying on the couch watching the movie. She's laying on my chest. I'm like, yeah, good night, good night. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, she was like, hey, can we talk about something that happened like a month or two ago? Like, what? Why now? Right now. Right now. So in this moment in time, when we're having a good moment, there's no arguing, there's no fighting, there's like love, affection, caring going on. Why on earth would you decide to ruin it right now? Why? What's up? Why would he talk about it right now? Why not later? Why not another time? Why not? Why tonight? Why would you want to ruin tonight? And we used to get into arguments, so the whole night, the whole day had been good, end of the night ruined. Just sleep, go to bed mad as hell at each other or whatever. And I used to get on my nerves. I told my therapist, I was like, why do we keep doing this? Like, why do we keep having the same circular arguments over and over again? Like, why can't we just get past this stuff? My therapist keeps it straightforward with me, and my therapist kind of looks like my wife, so it's like somebody said in my YouTube channel, it's called transference. So I feel like I'm talking to my wife. I'm like, why do we keep having these same arguments? She was like, because like you leave arguments on pause. She's like, women don't like to do that, men don't like to do that. Like, they like to have some finality to make sure that their voice is being heard, make sure that their opinions are considered, make sure that their viewpoints are being expressed. She's like, when you have an argument and you when she wants to express herself, and you just shut her down. She's like, look, not right now. Let's not do this right now. Like, let's talk about this later. Not in front of the kids. I'm tired from work or this, that. I'm drained. I'm mentally drained. I'm physically drained. I'm super tired. When you shut her down and you don't finish that conversation, she wants to finish it sooner or later. But over time, you've conditioned her not to be able to speak her mind, or they, like the narcissist in your life, has conditioned you to not be able to speak your mind. So you think. You try to learn that the victim or survivor tries to learn how to read the narcissist energy. So when you finally feel like they're in a good mood, you decide to try to talk to them about the problems. Like, well, they're in a good mindset. Let me go ahead and talk to them right now, because now will be the best time, because they typically say, not in a bad mood, like we're not tired, it's a weekend, you don't have to go to work, there's nothing else to do, let's just talk about this. Let's get this over with and done with. You see that never, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's true. She's like, you have to learn how to listen more. Stop reacting. Stop listening to react and listen to respond. The difference in listening to react means I'm always on the defensive. Listening to respond means I'm like listening and considering the other person's viewpoint, and the other person actually feels heard. So that's one of the main struggles that I've had as a narcissist, dealing with not just my wife's conversations, but dealing with any kind of arguments in my life. When you talk to my son, she's like, man, just not right now, man. She's like, Dad, can we do this? Like, man, no, not right now. Like, goodness gracious, like, your dad is tired. Your dad has to work. You want to have you want nice stuff? Let your dad sit down for give me 20 minutes to lay down. So just be quiet. And then the 20 minutes will turn to 2 hours. You know what I mean? Stuff like that I had to work on. Like literally had to actively work on. And just put that work and time, effort, and energy into it. And I know a lot of people, that's one of the biggest problems you just deal with. When you're dealing with somebody that's narcissistic or has NPD or possibly has NPD, that your voice isn't being heard. And like I said, that's one of the things I've had to work on tremendously to keep my family together, pretty much, to keep my sanity together, like to not have to rage out so much. Because like if we are communicating openly, if we have an open line of communication where she can voice her opinion and I can voice mine right there in the moment, then we don't argue later on. Those good nights, those nights that started off as good nights, they end as good nights. You know what I mean? And a lot of people in my comment section on TikTok, because the video's kind of going viral, and I think it has like almost 800,000 views. A lot of people in my comment section on TikTok are asking, how do you handle that? You handle it by standing in your truth and speaking. When you are upset or you have something that's going on with your feelings, say it right then and there. Some of y'all are scared to argue. The narcissist in your life has conditioned you to be scared of them, to be afraid of them. Don't be scared to argue. Sometimes you have to argue to get your point across. Sometimes you have to stand in your truth, because narcissists as a whole, we don't expect you to be strong. That's why we spend so much time conditioning you to not argue, to not voice your opinion. We don't expect you to do it. So in that moment in time, say your piece. You might have to argue a little bit. Sometimes you might just get your piece out and walk off. Say your piece, say your truth, and leave it be. Walk away sometimes. Sometimes you have to walk away. Go for a walk or something like that. Get out the house. But make sure you say what you have to say, because if you internalize it, it starts to poison you, and you start to feel unheard, unloved, uncared for. And that's the absolute recipe for an unhealthy, toxic ass relationship right there. Where you feel like you're getting ran over, you feel like a doormat, you feel like your voice never is being heard or anything of that nature. So speak your truth in the moment. That's what I recommend. I know some people are like, if you want to stay in that relationship, sometimes you can just leave them. If you don't feel like your voice is going to ever be heard, why would you spend 10, 15, 20 years? Like, especially in year one, y'all don't have any kids together. A couple months in, y'all don't have any kids together. You don't even live together. This has already started. I see a lot of people say, this is how my boyfriend is. I'm like, this is how your boyfriend is? Imagine how this person is going to be as your husband or the father of your kids, as your wife, as the mother of your kids. How are they going to be? They're going to treat you worse, because now you trapped. Now they have more power over you. Now they have more control over you. Now they can't tell you to be quiet, not in front of the kids. Shut up. This when the dog whistling comes into play. That's how you handle it, by handling it in the moment, speaking your truth. And you don't have to scream at them and yell at them, but speak your truth. Stand up for yourself. Don't let them run over you. If they're violent, always practice discretion when you say that, because if they're violent people are scary. You don't want to be in a violent. If you think they're going to hit you, it's time to go anyway. You know what I mean? It's time. If I speak my mind, they'll punch me in my mouth. Then it's time to go. That's just point blank period on that one. You don't need to be in that one. I'll tell you that. Just straight facts. You know what I mean? So get it out your system. Get it out your system when it comes up, or you'll internalize it and it'll start to poison you. Anyway, y'all, if you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. I'm truly appreciative of every single like, every single like, comment, everything I get, even the bad ones. Y'all still trying to bring me down, but you're not gonna bring me down. We flexing in here. We flexing on my ex. Yeah. Anyways, y'all, I truly appreciate everybody, everything y'all say for me, everything y'all do for me. I'm unbelievably thankful. My wife is too. Thank y'all so much. Peace.